Boy, what an eventful Monday it has been. Welcome back to LSUUUVAL. This is my fourth episode. Wasn't planning on doing another episode until Thursday, right before the draft, but I feel like I need to jump on and talk about Monday's events. Not even before 2 p.m., we get full of Jaguars news. Let's get some stuff out of the way. We get some word from NFL Network and things like that about why the Jaguars are looking to trade Leonard Fournette. A lot of it did come as a surprise to me because I'm such a big fan of his. Apparently constantly late for meetings, sleeping in meetings, apparently didn't have the best attitude, poor work ethic, which came as a surprise to me, but I was biased because I'm an LSU fan. But so now it kind of makes more sense why they're looking to move him. The Marqise Lee news wasn't surprising, but how long it took did surprise me. Marqise Lee was released today. Very talented wide receiver who just could never stay healthy. He apparently is fully healthy now. It saves the Jaguars $5 million in cap space. A little bit more than that, I think, actually. I wish Marqise Lee well wherever he ends up. Tons of talent and hope he can stay healthy. Now let's get to the big story of the day. Not to make a joke or anything off of Tony Khan's other business, but we basically got Jan versus Khan in a steel cage today via Twitter. Those guys went at it for quite a few tweets. It started with Jan calling out Tony Khan on Twitter, adding him, saying basically to stop hiding from him, and Tony kind of clapped back saying he wasn't hiding, he was getting ready for the draft, and those two went back and forth, which ultimately ended with, in my opinion, Tony Khan landing the big hitter, basically saying that Jan's showing on Twitter was not exactly helping his trade value. So this situation has got completely out of hand. I was a huge proponent all throughout the season to pay Jan. I hashtagged it a ton of times, tweeted it constantly. I was a big supporter of Jan. I still, he's a tremendous player. I wish we could keep him long term. But this thing has gotten way out of hand to the point where you have a co-owner of the team and a 25-year-old elite pass rusher literally going back and forth on Twitter, something you don't see. You don't see ownership and management of a team in Twitter fights with their own players. But that's what we got today. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's all over everything. Everyone is sharing it all over Twitter. Go read it. It's quite entertaining. It's sad that this is kind of the state of our franchise right now with such a key player, such an important player. But it's where we are. So go check that out. I, for one, just can't wait for this to be over. I wanted to keep you on long term. I wish there was a way to fix this, but it's not happening. But I think the Jaguars still hold all the cards when it comes to this. We can franchise tag him this year and next year. He can sit for the next 2 seasons and not make a dime. We have that option. And I think the Jaguars are not going to move him just to please him. It's not going to happen. Shad Khan, Tony, Dave, these guys are not going to do anything to just appease Yannick Ngakoue. They are going to wait till they get the best trade offer. And if Jan wants to sit, he's going to sit. I don't think Shad's going to budge on this. He wasn't going to budge on his value of Jalen Ramsey, and he ends up getting tremendous value. And I don't think he's going to budge on getting value for Yannick Ngakoue. I think that he's got a line in the sand, and I don't think he's going to budge. But it is something that will be better off as a franchise when it's over. We move on. I'm still very excited about the draft, regardless of the turmoil going on with Jan in the front office. 12 draft picks, lots of potential for trade ups to get key players, trade backs to land more draft capital and get more top 100 guys. So that's still something to be very excited about. But if you missed the death match between Tony Khan and Yannick Ngakoue on Twitter, you need to go catch up because it is stuff you don't see between ownership and players very much, especially via social media. Not a ton of owners and stuff like that have social media, but are, with Tony Khan being a younger guy and his presence in another business in All Elite Wrestling, he has a big Twitter following. And so it's not often you see management having Twitter. But Tony does, and Tony was not going to let Jan call him out today and not respond. He went right after him, and these two exchanged quite a few barbs. So it's quite the entertaining Monday early afternoon if you didn't see it. But between Lee getting released, more news about character and commitment issues out of Leonard Fournette and effort issues, and then this, just like I jokingly said, cage match between Tony Khan and Yannick Ngakoue that took place. It's been quite an eventful Monday for Jags Twitter. So let me know in the comments what you think is going to be the Yannick Ngakoue solution, or let me know on Twitter. Do we trade him before the draft, which looks so unlikely? Trade him during the draft, which also looks so unlikely at this point. Does he sit all of 2020, or are we able to make a deal happen between now and when the season is supposed to start? Which still we don't know when exactly it's going to take place. But from now until the time when the season's supposed to start, do we trade Jan in the summer, or do we make a deal? Like I said, the deal happening during the draft now seems very unlikely. Teams aren't offering what our line in the sand is, and Tony Khan and Shad and those guys seem like they are not going to accept less. So let me know in the comments and on Twitter what you think the solution is going to be. I personally don't see us moving him during the draft. I think it's going to drag out into the summer, but it made for very entertaining Twitter today. It was very ugly, so I recommend go check it out because it is definitely some entertainment. I will see you guys again on Thursday unless something happens between now and then with my final predictions for how the first round is going to go for the Jaguars. Always, guys, take care and go Jags.